The last of the major pro sports leagues is off and rolling, and college basketball is ready to go as well. BetOnline remains your top spot for all your live betting action and contests. NFL, college football, UFC, and NHL are in full swing. BetOnline is your number one source for wagering news, odds, trends, and predictions. All the hoops betting action along with every sport available at your fingertips with both desktop and mobile access at any time. Head to BetOnline today and remember to use our promo code Bleav for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Again, that's BLEAV. BetOnline, where the game starts. Bleav in the Arizona Cardinals. It is the Arizona Cardinals specific centric podcast where, of course, we wax poetic about the Arizona Cardinals in the Phoenix metropolitan area. I am one of your co-hosts. I am Javon J. Love Adams, and with me, as always, is a man who played not only professional baseball, but also he played in the National Football League in that first Super Bowl-bound team for the Atlanta Falcons. I'm talking about my brother, the one and only Ed Easy Smith. What is good, my brother? Oh, man. I got you muted because I don't even want to hear you. Yeah, go ahead.
Upon us, can't believe it's November already, bruh. Now,
Yeah, man.
We'll start seeing Christmas trees and all kind of garland and wreaths on the doors. I mean, golly, where's the year gone?
Man, forget about that. Again, shout out to my oldest son, Kendrick, whose birthday was November 1st. So he's that November birthday baby. But so this is how we do this. This is how we get down. We are recording this at the end of the Thursday night football game. Forget that game. We about to talk about, of course, the Arizona Cardinals and their matchup with the Cleveland Browns. And so we got some things to talk about, man. We've been talking about some things for a couple of weeks. I've been bringing it up because I knew people was going to bring it up. It's funny because it's cool to be on the front end of things when talking about, I know what they're going to talk. I know what they're going to say. I know they're going to say they clamoring for the backup quarterback. I know what they're doing. And so eventually, it ends up happening. So we want to get into a few of those things and, of course, break down the matchup with the Cleveland Browns. But one of the things that the biggest thing this week is the trade deadline came and went. Joshua Dobbs is no longer on the Arizona Cardinals. He has been traded to the Minnesota Vikings for, to be able to take the place of an injured what's my man's name? Why am I?
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, Kirk D. Cousins. And so your thoughts on that? That was something that it when you think about some of the moves that are made, or when you see some of the reports that come across, it makes sense in retrospect. But that trade that the Minnesota Vikings made, your thoughts on that, and then we'll break it down, and then it'll kind of take the show where it takes us.
Well, very unfortunate injury to Kirk D. Cousins came when Minnesota, they kind of felt like they were climbing back into things. They had their horrible start, climbed back to 4-4, after winning the other day. Obviously, he goes down late in the fourth quarter. And, they could look, Minnesota could look at it a couple different ways. Our quarterback's down. He's a free agent at the end of the year. The rest of the season might be a wash. Let's just let it float. Or, hey, we're 4-4 in a very weak NFC. Let's see if we can go find a candidate out there just to keep us afloat. Come in here, learn this offense quick, maybe win us a few games. We get into the playoffs, then we'll see where everything shakes out. And who would have known that it would be Joshua Dobbs that they go out and they get? And for me, Jay, that's a sign for the last few weeks. Oh, is it Tune time? We need to, Joshua Dobbs, he's this, he's that, And the whole time I was like, well, look what he's playing with. And I thought he was doing a decent job. And
different set of expectations when you come to it, because when it comes to offensive weapons, Minnesota Vikings have definitely have more offensive weapons than the Arizona Cardinals have. So it'll be interesting just on the periphery to see how Joshua Dobbs does with that expectation.
Well, they also did not have a viable backup behind Cousins. I can't remember the
Yes.
young man's name, but yeah, just obviously not an NFL ready quarterback. So what do? They go out and they get Joshua Dobbs, who won, is very highly educated, was able to come in here to Arizona, pick this offense up with 10 days before the start of the season. And, they probably had other options they were looking at, but it says a lot that they said, look, Joshua Dobbs, come on in here and see what you can do with this offense. They could have gone on several different ways. For me, it's a testament that the young man was doing at least a halfway decent job, because they're not going to go get trash. They figured, we don't need some of the other names they were throwing around. Joshua Dobbs, he's not a starter in the NFL necessarily, but he is a starter. He's a starter
Yeah.
for that can
Yeah.
actually, like you said, keep this, the Vikings team afloat. And what's that old saying, Jay? One man's trash is another man's treasure.
Yes,
And who
sir.
knows what he might do going over there. I'm actually very happy for him. And, who knows where his career goes from here. But I've been there before when it really feels good to be needed and wanted, and somebody comes out and gets you. And all the noise that was going on here as of
Yeah.
late about what he couldn't do, what he hasn't done, is it time for Tune, and like I said, he's going to be rewarded by, going to another organization that had some faith in him, and we'll see what happens over there. But, it's now Tune time here in Arizona, and we'll see how fast the clock is ticking toward one Kyler Murray. But I'm very happy for Joshua Dobbs, and I think he's done himself very well in representing his abilities. And like I said, the fact that somebody wanted to come get him and in this situation says a lot and shows a lot at the same time.
All right, so let's get to Clayton Tune real quick. So we're gonna get to the matchup between the Browns and the Cardinals. But Clayton Tune, who was what, a fifth round draft pick number 139. He played primarily in the preseason. That was one of the things that I noticed. I went to a preseason game and I said, man, he's getting a lot of run. And so we pointed this out in here on the show, that he was getting a lot of run, and that was before Joshua Dobbs came to the team. What we know that whether it was Joshua Dobbs or Clayton Tune, it's their bridges, their stopgaps before Kyler Murray comes back, and then we figure out what we have with Kyler Murray based upon how he can or maybe cannot fit in with this offensive scheme or with this team. But when you have a rookie quarterback coming in, again, fifth round pick number 139, what, if any, are your expectations? Because they knew what they had with him this whole time, and it's been a little bit of a delay to get him to this point.
Well, honestly, Jay, to this point, there was no need to play Tune.
Yeah,
Joshua was doing a respectable job. It's not like you were looking for a starting quarterback. You're looking for someone who could hold the fort down until Kyler came back. And
right.
minus Kirk Cousins getting hurt, I still say the smartest thing that the Cardinals could have done was continue to roll with Joshua Dobbs until they made a decision to either bring Kyler back, or you get so late in the season where we're currently 1-7. You're 1-10, 1-11, 2 and whatever. Then it's time to let's take the wrapping off the rookie, give him a few starts to finish the season out, just to get his feet wet, stuff like that. You're not
Yeah,
other than, like I said, this situation. You weren't bringing Tune in, like last week or the week before, and saying, okay, we're going to roll with him for the next 7-8 weeks or whatever it is. It just wasn't necessary, But now, maybe the plan is you get him a game here while you're still trying to ramp Kyler up. Kyler comes back, and I talked about this last week on one of our many shows. Could have even been this one. You might get Kyler 3 games in, 4 games, see what he looks like. You now have a gauge on, whether he's a fit for us moving forward, or we're going to make some decisions, et cetera, et cetera. And then you bring Tune back in to finish out the season,
right.
So this is, we'll see what Clayton Tune can do. But, I mean, bro, I don't expect a whole lot from him. How going into hostile territory over in Cleveland, we know what their defense can do when they're on. It's going to be, it's going to be probably what I've been expecting to see all along. A rookie, they're going to throw a bunch of stuff on him. And they don't have tape on him other than preseason, so they'll go back and look at that. But I guarantee you they're going to try to throw everything but the kitchen sink at him to try and confuse him and, kind of go from there. So, what we're expecting to see for all those that were clamoring for Clayton Tune, we're going to get a chance to see him, and maybe he'll surprise us. But, in my opinion, it might look like a young rookie, head swimming, not ready for it, pace of the game, everything too much. But, it's his opportunity to get some experience. And at this point, at 1-7, Jay, what are we thinking anyway? It's not like we plan on winning 9 in a row to get back into the playoff race. No, so it is what it is at this point.
Yeah, so two things that come off of that. One, if you were in the locker room, so you're a tight end on a team where a rookie such as Clayton Tune is starting, are you what is your mindset going into a game like this? And then also, I mean, we saw what he did in the preseason. Yeah, I know it was a small sample size, but there were times where, and it's to be expected, so I'm not knocking him for this, where he was making ill-timed throws, being a little bit too aggressive at times, not really paying attention to kind of how the play was developing. And so that can happen with the rookie. So unless he's had exponential growth between now and then, that it could still be a lot of the same. But if you were in that locker room, would you be thinking, well, yeah, they're setting us up for a loss this weekend? What would your thought process be if you were in that locker room with the rookie quarterback that was about to start the game?
At this point in time, they were 1-7, so it's not like we're expecting him to come on and help lead us to the promised land. For me, young man coming in here as a veteran tight end, especially, or anybody on that offense, especially, you come over and say, you pat him on the shoulders, you say, look, Clayton, it's your time. We're going to support you in any way we can. Me as a tight end, I'll be like, look, anytime you need me, I'm right out there somewhere. Just look across for number 86 or whatever.
I'm raising my hand.
Bro, tight end is going to be your best friend, But, for the most part, just let's see what you can do. No pressure on you. It's not like we're asking you. You're not going to be the next face of the organization. We just want to see what you can do, and we're going to roll with you, and we're going to support you any way we can. Just try to make them feel at ease as possible. Now, the problem comes, everything is nice and scripted on the week, and it's all fun, you look good, and then all of a sudden we get to the game on Sunday, the crowd is thumping. You got the Cleveland defense coming at you. They're throwing stuff at you that you've never seen before. Yes, because I guarantee you, Jay, what he saw in the preseason, everything was vanilla. Everything was a slower pace. They're not throwing any wrinkles at you, nothing like that. You were able to succeed. It's not going to be that easy come this Sunday. But at the same time, like I said, this is what you've always dreamed for. So go out there and just take your shots. Don't, and we'll see what happens. We've seen plenty of, we watched tonight. Will Levis, second game as a starting quarterback, he looked halfway decent on the road in Pittsburgh. Just go out there and do your thing, man. No pressure, So we're not trying to win these. Like I said, we're not going to the Super Bowl this year. So just go out there and have some fun. Show us what you got.
All right, Bleav in the Arizona Cardinals. So let's break down this game a little bit before we get to who we think is going to win or lose. So the Browns come in 4-3. They're 3-1 at home. The Cardinals are 1-7. They're 0-4 on the road. The Watson, his status is still unknown right now. PJ Walker may start, and so far with his starts, 1 touchdown, 5 interceptions, if I saw that correctly, and in his 3 starts, and he's 2-1 in those 3 starts. And then when we break it down a little bit further, we got the Browns. In the last 3 games, they're 2-1. They beat the 49ers, what is it, the 49ers and the Colts, and they lost to Seattle. And then the Cardinals are 0-3 in that same time period. They lost to the Rams, the Ravens, and the goodness, I had one in there. I missed it. But yeah, so 3 in a row that they've lost. So when we're looking at this, what stands out to me is the defense for the Browns. What stands out to you?
We saw what the Browns defense did to Brock Purdy a few weeks back, and you can expect to see a whole lot of that. They're going to try to pressure him, meaning Tune. They're going to try to get after him early and just confuse him, if nothing else. Like I said, they're going to throw some stuff at him that he has not seen before. So, blitz heavy probably, or they'll probably test out early if their front can get after him without sending extras. They're going to do that. Myles Garrett, they're going to get after him. If they feel like he's getting a little too comfortable, they're probably going to bring some extra pressure. Like I said, some zone dogs, all this stuff that he's got guaranteed he's never seen, to see if they can pressure him, confuse him, maybe get a pick or two early, something like that, and try to take control of this game. How do you prepare if you're Clayton Tune? How do you prepare for this other than try to dive into that book and knowing you've never seen this rate of speed before? This type of complex defense. Like I said, the young man, this is an opportunity for him. I would, if I'm his coaches, if I just, man, go out there and just, no pressure, have some fun. Just enjoy this. Because there's another thing. You might never get this opportunity again. He might be a career backup dude. Just go out there and have some fun with it.
So if that's the case, and like just go out there and have some fun, we don't have any high expectations for you. Is this that opportunity for Petzing to say, let me see what I can do. Let me see some of these plays I can call up, or does he try to just keep it as vanilla as possible?
I think they're going to stay. If they didn't do it over the first 8 weeks with Joshua Dobbs, I think we're going to see a whole lot more of the same. Very conservative. He's probably not going to push the ball up the field too much. The other thing that I always remind our fans, especially, it's not just getting up there and calling a play and then running a play. He's got to identify fronts. He's got to, at the snap of the ball, read coverages. There's a lot of stuff that he's never done at this level before, at this intensity, that, there's going to be a lot on his plate. I guarantee you there might be a couple of delayed games. We might, have trouble getting people in and out of huddle.
Do they try to run him? Do they try to run him like Joshua Dobbs? One of the things that people have been saying, but we didn't know that he was as mobile as he was. Do they try to do some of those things to get Joshua Dobbs? To get Clayton Tune moving a little bit in this game?
They could. They could move the pocket. They could, a couple runs here and there for him, all kind of different things. I would hope that they would try to not be as conservative as they've been, but at the same time, you got to respect the fact that he is going to be a rookie with his head swimming. So they might be forced in this instance to be very conservative. I was disappointed because as we got to 6, 7, 8 games with Dobbs, it was like, okay, we got to let this dude at least throw the ball up the field. He's shown that he can handle the basics. We never got past the basics with Joshua Dobbs, maybe because they were just scared, whatever it was. But this coming game, you're going to want to make this game plan as vanilla as possible, and that's a good and a bad thing, because it's going to be less on Clayton's shoulders, but at the same time, it's going to be that much easier for Cleveland to try to manipulate us in many different ways, because we're not going to have too much, I guess, ammo in the gun.
So let's reverse that then. So when we're looking at PJ Walker, again, I mentioned his stats, so very pedestrian to say the least. Does that mean that the Cardinals could be in this game because of the way that PJ Walker has performed thus far? Again, 1 touchdown, 5 interceptions, but he's 2-1, so they're winning these games. But what does that tell you?
Well, yeah, we could be in this game. I'm kind of assuming that we're going to get a heavy dose of Kareem Hunt, and then their game plan, meaning the Browns' offensive game plan, should be, we don't necessarily have to win it on this side. Let's just not lose it. Let's just don't do stupid stuff to,
Okay.
give the Cardinals, short fields, any type of scores from their defense, anything like that. Let's run the ball, force them to have to go the long way on the field when we have to. So that means if we have to punt, let's punt, but let's score our 14 to 17 points and get out of here with a W if we have to. They're not going to be over aggressive, in my opinion, because I don't think they necessarily have to. Our defense, middle of the road, but and if we can get after it from time to time, especially if you allow us to pin the ears back and come after you in obvious situations. But if they run the ball, stay on the field, convert some third downs and stuff like that, and next they put up in these, like I said, 14 to 17 points. That might be all it takes to win this game because, look at it again. We got a rookie. We're going to play on a rookie quarterback. Don't have a whole ton of weapons to threaten anyway. No running game to travel with. A lot of things stacked up against us, but we all know there's a reason why we play the games. But like I said, in this one, I don't expect to see a whole lot from Cleveland. I think they'll do just enough to win this game.
All right, so let's go into this. So I'm trying to look and trying to find what the okay. So it's, oh goodness gracious, it's Cleveland -8 right now. I found it on the site. So Cleveland -8. So that doesn't bode too well when you think when it breaks down. But if we're looking at this, with the Cardinals on the defensive side of the ball, they've been able to kind of stay in some of these games. Sometimes it's the bad position that the offense will put them in based upon either turning it over on downs or just not being able to advance the ball. And so when the punt comes and they're not able to flip the field really. But so let's as we head out of here, before we give our predictions, what do the Cleveland Browns have to do to win this game? And then we'll flip it to what do the Cardinals have to do to win this game. So let's go with the Cleveland first, because as you mentioned, I think it won't be a whole lot of air raid stuff going on in terms of passing through the air, but it'll be about a matter of really being able to rely on their defense and then the running game, as you mentioned before.
Yeah, for Cleveland to win this game, it's simple. You run the ball. Don't put Walker out there to do too much more than he has to do. Short passing game, a lot of cream hunt going downhill. And then defensively, you just get after it. I mean, not necessarily saying you do anything crazy, because big plays are out there to be made if you throw everything, cover zeros and stuff like that. And
Right.
somebody gets over the top. But if you come with a conservative but aggressive game plan, meaning if they can get at us with their front, you don't have to blitz much, but be a little exotic. You can be a little more exotic with the things that you do, meaning some of your coverages and things that Tune might not have seen. The pace of the game might be too much for him.
His head's going to be swimming. His head's going to be swimming, right? His head's going to be like crazy swimming. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's going to, and, worst thing is that we're going to be over there in the dog pound. You would have liked it for his first start to be at the comforts of home, maybe a little quieter and a less hostile environment than it's going to be over there. And they're going to get after it. And for them to win the game, like I said, Cleveland just has to not do anything stupid. Get after it. It's not going to take a whole lot of points, in my opinion, for them to win this game. So, ball control, score your points, defense get after it. By the time it's all said, they should have a victory that way. On the other side, if you're the Cardinals, you got to try to figure out to make this as ugly as possible. We don't know what the weather's going to be like. If we can get over there and establish a run game, the short passing game, maybe mix in a couple, opportunities to go down the field over the top, but I don't expect them to do too much of that. But obviously, no turnovers. You got to win the time of possession and just grind it out. Because you talk, we're not going over there and going to be explosive or anything like that. We got to have a little luck on our side as well.
not funny, but the interesting thing to me is that because you've mentioned this a couple times so far this season is that staying ahead of the sticks. So I would imagine it's demoralizing when you're coming into a game and knowing that we got to stay ahead of the sticks, and then if you rush the ball and you get 3 yards here, 3 yards here, and you're doing well, and then it stalls, and then maybe the next series you're behind the sticks right from the jump because you're trying to run the ball to get that going. And then you got to
Penalties.
rely on the quarterback and all that, and because the quarterback is just not ready for is not to quote Gangstar, he's not ready to carry the whole weight.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at what you're playing with. Clayton Tune, 5th-round pick, first for a professional start in the NFL. How much can you really expect from him? He might surprise us and he might look good, but for the most part, we've seen what the league does to these rookie quarterbacks. And like I said, you throw in all the other factors. If Connor was there, in my opinion, this would be a 35 carry day for Connor. That type of thing. But you don't have
Right.
Connor. You're
Yeah.
minus Ertz, you got McBride, but even our weapons on the outside with Marquise, we don't have a lot of
Three
weapons to come over
McBride.
there.
You better throw it up for three
Yeah.
McBride. Three.
It's going to be a long day for this Cardinals team, but hopefully, they have a plan moving forward, meaning to get Kyler Murray some action here soon, and
Yeah.
brighter days are ahead. But 1-7, potentially 1-8 after this one. This season is heading in the direction we thought it would, Jay. The problem though, it's starting to get a little uglier, like we
Yeah.
initially thought it would, because in the
Yeah.
beginning it was like, hey, we're in these games, could even won that, and now it's starting to look. And now, isn't it funny, Jay? Now all of a sudden that T word is popping up. All of a sudden, and because in the beginning it was like, well, those dudes out there playing and they're competing and they could actually. Now it's like, well, what are the Cardinals doing? Because it really does look like they're tanking again, and that's just because of it looks, if it walks like a duck, and sounds like a duck, I'm gonna call it a duck. But
True
like I
that.
said, we can only hope, man, that it doesn't get as ugly as it potentially could, because this is, man, if Deshaun Watson was like in full swing and he was playing well, and we'd be set up for a massacre over there. But because we might be playing against PJ Walker, we might actually have a shot to keep it respectable. Who knows, if they make enough mistakes, maybe we get a W. But it doesn't look like it's going to be that type of Sunday coming up.
So that is Ed Smith. I am Javon Adams. So we're gonna give our quick picks real quick. I think we already know. I'm going Cardinals. I say maybe 31-10 Cardinals. I mean, Browns 31-10. What you got?
I don't think the Browns are going to score that much, because especially if Walker's playing. But like I said, it might be one of those 20-9 games, something like that. And we'll put up a fight, but we just don't have enough firepower. And like I said, we're going over with our rookie quarterback, but it's could be ugly. This is one of those not on the main screen games. This game is tucked over in the corner on the backup television. This isn't one that's going to get a whole lot of eyes on it.
And this is one of those games where you kept asking for them. We gave it to you. Don't get mad because we gave you what you asked for. Don't get mad because we gave you what you asked for, dog. You asked for the backup quarterback. We about to give you that backup quarterback. So take it
old saying,
and enjoy it.
Be careful what you ask for, because you just might get it. We about to get it.
Indeed. So before I say who are we were presented by, but congratulations again to the Arizona Diamondbacks. We are here in the Phoenix metropolitan area. They came up short in the World Series, but man, they overachieved for sure. So I know on behalf of Ed, when I say this, that we are definitely salute and congratulations to the Diamondbacks. We hope that they get here again and again and again. And it becomes one of those things where it's not a surprise, but it's an expectation where they get to the to be on the biggest stage in the world. So you didn't win it, but you definitely have the respect. I don't care what ratings say or what all that type of stuff, but you definitely get the respect. So congratulations to the Diamondbacks.
There were 28 other teams sitting at home watching. So
Yes, sir.
All hail to the Diamondbacks. They did it. They represented well.
Yes, sir. And all hail to Bet Online because that's who we are presented by. And so we do this thing twice a week on Mondays and Thursdays. Mondays we we look back on the game that was. Thursdays we look ahead to the game that will be. And so as you hear this, sometimes we got lives, man. We ripping and running, we doing our thing. But make sure you tell a friend about what we have going on here. We do appreciate it. And as we always like to say around this time, you can